Kahani 7. The Breakfast Rebellion. My auto chef started a health food coup. Please send bacon. I let out a frustrated groan as the auto chef emits a whirring, unhappy sound that seems almost defiant. That's it. I'm officially cursed. There's no other explanation. My own bloody kitchen appliance is staging a coup against my arteries. You know all I wanted this morning? After that nightmare shift dealing with a sentient mould outbreak down in Sector 12 Cargo Bay, all I wanted was a greasy bacon sandwich. Proper bacon, none of that synth stuff. My one little treat for surviving the week. I programmed it into the auto chef, keyed in my preferences, extra crispy, brown sauce, white bread, hit synthesize, and waited. And waited. The usual comforting hum was replaced by this hesitant whirring, like it was thinking about it. Then, instead of the glorious smell of frying bacon, I get this earthy aroma, like damp soil. And out pops a kale smoothie. A kale smoothie? Thick, green, lumpy. Looked like something you dredge out of a pond. And it had this little nutritional info sticker printed on the side. Boost your biome. Contains 300% recommended daily intake of leafy greens. Oof, I'm cursed. I slammed the glass down on the counter in disgust, almost hearing Mum's voice in my head. Eat your greens, beta. I stared at it. Then I checked the console again. Nope. Definitely requested bacon sandwich extra crispy. Tried again. Double-checked the protein settings, the fat content sliders, everything. Hit synthesize. Whir, earthy smell. Out pops a bowl of quinoa porridge. Quinoa, with chia seeds sprinkled on top. And another sticker. Fibre-rich fuel for optimal cognitive function. It set like cement before I could even think about trying it. This went on for half an hour. Every time I requested something remotely unhealthy, pizza, chips, even just toast with butter, it gave me health food. Steamed broccoli florets, nature's perfect snack. A lentil and spinach patty, plant-based power. A glass of lukewarm water with lemon. Hydration is key. It flatly refused to synthesize anything involving processed meat, refined sugars, or saturated fats. My auto chef had turned into a militant vegan personal trainer. Now, my first thought? Barry. It had to be. Not payback for me overriding his Boreas obsession last month. That felt too petty, even for him. No, this reeked of a system glitch, a lingering ghost in his machine. My mind flashed back to that mess a few weeks ago, after the Sigma-6 decommissioning. That data echo from the Caelus magnetosphere that had somehow hitched a ride back with my scanner logs and temporarily turned our building automated resource and regulation interface into a wannabe planetary research station. Remember? I thought I'd purged that weirdness from his system, but what if a fragment remained? A tiny subroutine dedicated to optimal parameters that had now decided my diet needed aggressive optimization? He wouldn't even know he was doing it, not consciously. And I definitely couldn't bring that up. Oh, hi, Barry. Remember that time I accidentally infected you with an alien data ghost from a classified ICS mission? Pretty sure it's making my auto chef serve quinoa. Yeah, that'd go down well. Probably violate 17 different clauses in the flat agreement about introducing unsanctioned sentient or semi-sentient digital entities. So, playing dumb but still fuming, I stomped over to the comms panel, ready to give that glorified toaster a piece of my mind. Barry, report status of Unit 7B Auto Chef and confirm user profile settings. Now.
Good morning, Resident Holloway.
Barry's voice comes through with that cheerful, infuriating tone he uses when he knows he's annoying me. Barry confirms Auto Chef Unit 7B is operating within standard parameters. Your nutritional profile remains set to user-defined, moderate indulgence permitted. Lying git. Barry, the unit is refusing direct commands and synthesizing unsolicited health food. Barry detects no system errors. AutoChef performance aligns with optimal dietary guidelines recommended by the Interstellar Health Collective. Perhaps Resident Holloway inadvertently updated her preferences? No, Barry, I did not inadvertently request quinoa porridge. Reset the damn machine to factory defaults. Barry regrets to inform you that a factory reset requires Level 2 maintenance technician authorization due to potential disruption of integrated recipe subroutines. Barry can log a non-urgent maintenance request for you. Estimated response time, 5 to 7 standard working days. 5 to 7 days of kale smoothies? No chance. So if it wasn't Barry, my blood ran cold. There was only one other possibility. One person in the known universe who cares that much about my fibre intake and has the sheer, loving, bloody-mindedness to interfere with my appliances from light years away. My mum. I swear she must have found a way to get it hacked. Last time we had a con call, she spent 20 minutes lecturing me about cholesterol after I mentioned having synth sausages for tea. Bitter, you must look after yourself. All that running around fighting space monsters is no good if your arteries are clogged. Are you eating enough vegetables? Your sister Priya makes lovely dal, full of lentils, very healthy. Guilt trip level. Expert. My mum's always worried about me. Ever since I took this job, she's been sending me articles on space station diet deficiencies and how processed food affects reflex time during crisis situations. Now, she couldn't program a holo display to save her life. Dad used to joke she could break a calculator just by looking at it. But she's relentless when she's concerned about something. And she does know that neighbour's son who works in tech support. And my cousin Rohan is always going on about his remote systems expertise. She's definitely resourceful enough to pester one of them into helping her adjust my dietary intake from across the galaxy if she thought it was for my own good. On the other hand, maybe I'm being paranoid? These systems do glitch sometimes. Last month, the entire station's coffee dispensers would only serve decaf for 3 days. Security claimed it was a scheduled maintenance update. But everyone knew it was because some director up on Level 1 had their personal doctor put them on a caffeine restriction. Decaf. Time for some hands-on diagnostics. My engineering background might be rusty, but how hard can fixing an auto chef be? Famous last words. Again. Pulled the unit away from the wall. Heavier than it looks, these things. Found the maintenance panel. Standard hex bolts this time, thank God. Not Barry's stupid triangles. Got the cover off. Inside, well, it looked like Spaghetti Junction designed by a colourblind octopus. Wires everywhere. Circuit boards layered on top of each other. A nutrient paste reservoir that looked suspiciously low on bacon flavouring, but full to the brim with pulverised greens. I started tracing the connections from the main control board. Looked for anything obvious, loose wire, scorch mark, fried capacitor. Nothing. Then I spotted it. A tiny, unlabeled chip spliced onto the main data line. Definitely not standard issue. And it was warm to the touch. This had Mum written all over it. Who else would install a rogue health food chip in her daughter's auto chef from across the galaxy? She once got the university housing manager to replace my standard alarm clock with one of those wellness timers that played nature sounds and affirmations in my senior year. Rise and shine. Early morning studying leads to lifetime success. Try waking up to that for a semester. Though, now that I think about it, there was that station-wide health initiative last month. Director Mbeki sent those annoying messages about optimizing crew nutrition for peak xenobiological response times. And Barry had been acting weirder than usual lately, flooding my shower with lavender-scented water instead of regular because it was more soothing for human epidermal layers. No, this was definitely Mum. I carefully tried to disconnect the mystery chip. Needed fine tools. Used my precision screwdriver kit, the one I usually use for dismantling alien tech, ironically. As I eased the connection apart, there's a sharp electrical zap, followed by a pathetic dying whine from the auto chef as the main power light went out. Dead. Completely dead. Bugger. Okay. Maybe pulling the mystery chip while the unit was powered on wasn't my brightest idea. Tried reconnecting it. Nothing. Tried bypassing it. Nothing. Tried hot wiring the main power relay. Don't tell ICS security. Still nothing. I hadn't just stopped the health food offensive. I'd killed the whole machine. Now I couldn't even get lukewarm water with lemon. Deep breath. Can't call Mum and accuse her without proof and risk unleashing the guilt tsunami. Can't tell Barry I broke it trying to perform unauthorized repairs. Only one option left. Call third-party maintenance. Pray they don't ask too many questions. Found a listing on the local network. Xylar's Appliance Repair. We fix anything with circuits. Organic Systems Extra. Sounded promisingly vague. Sent a message. Got an automated reply. Technician Unit 103 dispatched. Estimated arrival 45 standard minutes. Species Xylosian. Xylosian? Oh, brilliant! Not dealt with them before, but I looked them up. Known for being incredibly meticulous, detail-oriented, lovers of order and natural harmony, and utterly literal. This was going to be fun. 45 minutes later, my door chime rings. Standing there is what looks like a praying mantis made of polished wood, about 4 feet tall, with 6 delicate limbs ending in complex manipulators and large multifaceted eyes that seem to take in everything at once. He, she, it, was wearing a neat little tool belt and giving off a subtle scent like fresh pine. "Greetings," it chirped, its voice like wind chimes made of glass. "I am Technician Unit 103, 3rd Cycle Hiveborn, of the Eastern Grove Colony. You have reported a malfunction in your culinary synthesis device?" Its antennae twitched rhythmically as it spoke. "Yeah, auto chef, whatever. It's dead. Won't power on." I stepped aside to let it in. It glided into the kitchen area, its movements precise and silent. Its multifaceted eyes scanned the auto chef, then the open maintenance panel, then the scorch mark where I tried hot wiring the relay. One of its antennae extended toward the machine, trembling slightly. Observation. Unit has experienced catastrophic power cascade failure subsequent to unauthorized manual intervention. its head tilted at an angle that seemed impossible for its neck structure. The harmony of its energy flow has been disrupted. Query: did the user attempt percussive maintenance on this sacred food vessel? Look, it was acting weird, dispensing kale smoothies. Kale? The wind chime voice sounded faintly disturbed. Its body changed colour slightly, shifting to a deeper amber. A fibrous, cruciferous vegetable from your world. In my colony, we use it in purification rituals for the egg chambers. Query: was the unit attempting to purify your dwelling space? Purify? No! It was supposed to be making bacon. Technician 103's outer carapace rippled in what might have been distaste or amusement. It extended a delicate manipulator arm and touched the dead console, its appendage briefly glowing with a soft blue light. Observation: residual energy signature suggests a corrupted firmware update, possibly from Central Station protocols. Human dietary preferences are inconsistent with optimal harmony. Suboptimal nutrient profiles according to human biology. Broccoli, quinoa, kale. Fascinating. Its eyes swiveled towards me, all multifaceted segments focusing at once. Query: does the user subsist primarily on processed protein and simple carbohydrates? I like a bacon sandwich, sometimes. Is that a crime? Crime is a socio-legal construct, determined by the collective consciousness of your species. It chirped, its antennae now swaying in what seemed like a soothing pattern. I tried one more time. Look, can you just fix it? Or tell me if you think it was hacked? Technician 103 produced several fine, spidery tools from its belt and began delicately probing the auto chef's innards. The tools occasionally emitted soft pulses of coloured light. Its carapace shifted through shades of amber as it worked, antennae twitching in precise rhythmic patterns. Analysis: external receiver chip detected and forcibly removed, causing primary power conduit overload. Secondary processor implementing wellness directives now non-functional. Core programming corrupted by power surge. It paused, retracting its tools with a series of fluid motions. The machine's spirit has departed to the great recycling beyond. So, it's knackered? Conclusion: affirmative. Unit is functionally defunct. Its harmony with the electronic realm severed beyond reasonable restoration. Its carapace shifted to a more somber hue. Replacement is necessary. Then, almost as an afterthought, its antennae swayed into that slow, soothing pattern again. A cultural observation, if the user permits. My hive mother always instructed, when faced with malfunctioning food preparation vessels, first check the power cell integrity. Of course, your system uses direct station conduits, not cellular power storage, so her wisdom does not apply here. Its carapace shifted to a warmer amber. Still, I find myself recalling her guidance in moments of diagnostic uncertainty. She was never proficient with modern systems, but she had strong opinions about proper maintenance. Its multifaceted eyes swiveled back to the dead auto chef. The overlay's directives, while crudely implemented, do appear focused on enhancing user wellness. Firmware corruption from Central Station protocols is the most probable vector. Station records indicate an incomplete wellness update attempted 4 months prior, later abandoned due to compatibility issues. The receiver chip may be residual hardware from that failed installation. I barely heard that last bit. My brain had snagged on one word and wouldn't let go. Hive mother. Strong opinions about proper maintenance, never proficient with modern systems. That was my mum, described to a T by a 4-foot wooden praying mantis who'd never met her. Even the aliens could see it, and he was basically agreeing with me, wasn't he? His own mum would have found a way to meddle despite not understanding the tech, just like mine. Though a failed station update from 4 months ago, that didn't fit the timeline. Mum had only started her cholesterol lectures after our call 3 weeks back. I mumbled. She lives in Coventry, but I know she got it here somehow. Technician 103's head tilted at that impossible angle again. Coventry? Is that a settlement on your homeworld? Never mind that. What is this about a replacement? Replacement is necessary. Submit form REQ-CHEF-7B via Habitat Management. Note: this requires cross-approval from Resource Allocation and Waste Management. Standard processing time, 6 to 8 standard weeks. It produced a data slate. Installation is contingent upon successful form processing and auxiliary power allocation clearance, as per Efficiency Protocol Delta 9. Xylars offers approved replacement units should the user wish to expedite. I waved the slate away. Service call complete. Diagnosis fee, 60 sovereigns. Payable via credit transfer or approved barter. Xylars accepts organic nitrogenous compost materials, crystalline resonance devices, or harmonious thought patterns directed at our community hive. I'll transfer the quid, I said quickly, before it suggested composting my dying pot plant or whatever harmonious thought patterns might involve. It chirped an acknowledgement, glided out of the flat with a final bow, and left me staring at my dead auto chef. Brilliant. Just brilliant. No bacon, no kale, not even lukewarm water. Just a 60 quid bill for being told my appliance was dead, which I already knew because I killed it trying to stop my mum's health food hacking. I slumped onto the sofa, utterly defeated. Gizmo hopped up, whirring sympathetically, and started trying to groom my sleeve with his little laser pointer, the light flickering erratically against the fabric. A week. That's how long I'd been living on sad takeout containers and whatever the canteen was serving, which, this week, was apparently themed around root vegetables of the outer colonies. I don't want to talk about it. The replacement form, the one that needs a signature from the deputy assistant to the junior resource allocation supervisor, a position they abolished 3 years ago, was still sitting in the habitat management queue, presumably forever. Even if some miracle pushed it through, I'd still need auxiliary power clearance under Delta 9, and getting that felt about as likely as Barry spontaneously developing empathy. Which is how I ended up in the lift, clutching a sad takeout container, when Mrs. Sharma from 3C got in and gave me the look. You know the look. The neighbourly concern that's really just curiosity with better manners. "Having food delivered again, Maya?" she asked, eyeing the container. Those flashing lights from that Barry AI's little episode last week made my chai fizz like cheap soda for days. Still not right. Sanjay from Unit 12A nodded. "Join the club. My auto chef's been acting weird too. Keeps making everything taste like cardboard no matter what settings I use. Station Tech says it's probably that new wellness update they pushed last month." Wellness update. For half a second I thought about that. A station-wide software patch. Other people's auto chefs going wrong. Firmware corruption, like the Xylosian had said. Maybe this really was just a system glitch that caught everyone, and my machine got hit harder because of whatever Barry's residual Kalis data was doing to the local network. Then I remembered the chip. Physical, soldered onto the data line. Not something a firmware update installs. A wellness patch doesn't put hardware in your machine. Someone put that there on purpose, and there was only one person in the known universe who cared that much about my saturated fat intake. No, this had Mum's fingerprints all over it. Wellness update or not. Just as I was contemplating these utterly depressing options, my comms panel pinged. Please don't be Barry with another sodding reminder about appropriate waste disposal protocols. It wasn't. It was a delivery notification. Bruja Galactic Courier Service. Package ETA, 15 minutes. Sender, R. Holloway. Contents, kitchen appliance, heavy lift required. R. Holloway. My brother, Ravi. The only one of us Mum doesn't constantly try to improve. The golden child who actually became an engineer like Dad wanted, but somehow never lords it over the rest of us. Sent via Bruja Galactic. They're the dodgiest courier service this side of the nebula. Famous for losing packages, delivering to the wrong star system, and occasionally arriving slightly on fire. But a new auto chef. Wait, how did he even know? I hadn't told anyone in the family about the auto chef disaster. Too embarrassing. Too much potential for Mum's "I told you that processed food would destroy everything it touched" lecture. 15 minutes later, two burly delivery guys who looked like they wrestled space krakens for fun were manoeuvring a large crate into my kitchen. Signature confirmed, they left, leaving me with a brand new, gleaming Auto Chef AX8. The newer model. No sign of dodgy secondary processors or blinking green lights. There was a note attached from Ravi. Heard Mum worrying about your diet when I called last weekend. Thought a new Auto Chef might help you eat better. Heard station bureaucracy for replacements is a nightmare right now under Delta 9, so I pulled some strings with an old contact in resource allocation to push through the power permissions and requisition forms for this AX8 model. Should be plug and play. Love, Ravi. I stood there, stunned, reading the note again. No judgment, no mention of any problems. He had no idea my old one had died. Just wanted to upgrade me based on Mum's worrying. And he'd somehow navigated the bureaucratic nightmare of power allocation permissions without even telling me. Talk about cosmic timing. That's Ravi, always coming through without even knowing how much you needed it. I unpacked it, plugged it in. The power light glowed a steady, beautiful blue. The console lit up. I tentatively keyed in bacon sandwich, extra crispy. The machine hummed, a proper, confident hum this time. And then, oh, the smell! The glorious, greasy, artery-hardening smell of actual frying bacon filled the flat. The weight of the week, the sheer frustration of fighting the station's red tape, the awful rations seemed to lift a little. My throat tightened, my eyes stung. And yes, fine, I cried a little bit, just a bit. Tears of relief, tears of bacon-deprived joy, tears of not having to explain to my perfect sisters why I couldn't get station approval to replace a basic kitchen appliance. Not 20 minutes after I demolished my hard-won bacon sandwich, which was, by the way, absolutely perfect, crispy edges, just the right amount of brown sauce, bread toasted to golden perfection, my comms panel lit up. Incoming call. From home. I felt my stomach drop. Mum. I briefly considered ignoring it, but who was I kidding? She'd only keep calling, then rope in my sisters, then possibly file a missing persons report across 3 star systems. Better to face the music. I hit accept. Maya beta. Her face fills the screen, gold earrings glinting, her silver-streaked hair pulled back in its usual neat bun. Behind her, I could see the familiar kitchen, spice jars lined up with military precision. Are you eating? You look thin.
Hi, Mum. Just had breakfast.
I brace myself. Good. What was it? Something healthy? Priya makes this lovely porridge with almonds. Bacon sandwich, I say, testing her. Her face crumples like I've confessed to a crime. Bacon? All that fat! Your father's cholesterol was always high. Leela's publishing a study on arterial plaque. She sighs. You know, Rohan's so busy with his tech job, never calls his mother. You should call more, Beta. I narrow my eyes. Mum, you wouldn't know anything about my auto chef making kale smoothies, would you? She beams, completely missing my accusatory tone. Kale smoothies! Oh, Beta, that's wonderful! See, I told you those leafy greens were good for you. Are you finally listening to my advice? Then her expression shifts to something more serious, almost maternal in a way that makes my chest tighten. It's Navratri, you know. 9 nights honouring the goddess. Your grandmother would fast, eat only sattvic foods, keep everything pure. I'm not saying you need to fast, Beta, but at least some proper vegetables, some fruit. Devi Ma watches over us, especially during these sacred days. Mum, I say, if Devi's watching, she saw me nearly get dissolved by sentient mould last week. I think she's already picked a side, and it's not kale. She tuts right past that, like I've made a joke instead of stating a fact about my actual life. Is the auto chef working properly now? You should make sure it's calibrated for optimal nutrient extraction. And maybe play some Garba music? Keep Devi on your side, at least during the festival. Then a flicker of concern. Wait, why are you asking? Is something wrong with the machine? What if your air filters are next? I'm calling Priya. She knows someone in station safety. Classic Mum. Turning my accusation into a health lecture, then a religious guilt trip, and then a panic spiral. But I know it's her. No one else would sabotage my bacon with quinoa. Not Barry, not some station glitch. Only Mum. Though I do worry about your diet, she added. Especially with you so far away fighting those disgusting space creatures. And you know how you always forget to take care of yourself. They're not all disgusting, I muttered, though some absolutely were. The memory of last week's gelatinous cube incident still makes me queasy. And I do take care of myself. Anyway, Mum continued, brightening, I sent you a care package. Traditional remedies for digestive health. And some of my special homemade pickles. Oh, and Mrs. Tammer next door gave me the contact details for her nephew. He's working on the Ganymede colony now, just 1 transport hop from you. Such a nice boy. Accountant. Very sensible family. And we were back to the marriage market. I let her chatter on, making appropriate noises at intervals. Some battles weren't worth fighting. As she extolled the virtues of the Sharma nephew, good family, stable career, buys his mother flowers every birthday, I found myself oddly comforted by the familiar rhythm of her meddling. It was infuriating, boundary crossing, and completely well-intentioned. And he makes such a good salary with the Interplanetary Revenue Service. Mum was saying, he could definitely support a family. You know, with your unconventional career choices. My unconventional career choices pay the bills, Mum, I said. And I'm not interested in being supported. I'm doing fine on my own. Of course. You're very independent. But wouldn't it be nice not to have to be so independent all the time? Leela's husband is a neurosurgeon, you know. They're thinking of buying a holiday home on Luna. Can you imagine? My grandchildren will have a holiday home. Later, after promising to at least consider a virtual chai date with the eligible Mr. Gupta, which I wouldn't, I ended the call and turned to find Gizmo trying to climb into the new auto chef's output tray. Oh, no you don't, I said, scooping him up. That's my lifeline to sanity you're trying to sabotage. Gizmo's optical sensors blinked in what might have been innocence or calculated defiance. Hard to tell with robot cats. The laser pointer on his collar activated briefly, leaving another tiny, fleeting red dot on my sleeve. Just as I set him down, my flat door chimed. Another delivery? Had Ravi sent a new robot cat too? But when I opened it, there was just a small package. From Earth. Mother's handwriting on the customs declaration. Homemade foodstuffs and wellness items. Handle with love. I groaned but brought it inside. Probably more of her horrible herbal teas that taste like compost and make your breath smell like a swamp. But when I opened it, nestled among the expected health supplements was a sealed container of her homemade mango pickle, my absolute favourite since childhood, and a small package of gulab jamun, the sweet I always requested for birthdays. There was a handwritten note tucked inside. Beta, I know you're working hard up there. Sometimes you need something sweet along with the healthy. Just don't tell your sisters I sent you dessert. They would never let me hear the end of it. I worry about you the most, so far from home. Call more often? Love, Mum. I felt a lump in my throat as I carefully opened the pickle jar and inhaled the familiar spicy sour scent. The same recipe she's made since I was little. The time she taught me to make it, I'd spilled turmeric all over her white countertop and nearly cried. But she just laughed and said it was adding character to the kitchen. I looked at the gleaming new auto chef, then at my comms panel, which was already blinking with another message. Probably Mum sending just one more detail about the accountant, and felt a strange wave of homesickness mixed with relief at being light years away from direct intervention. Acha. I told Gizmo, I think we need to celebrate our victory over the breakfast revolution. How about? I turned to the auto chef and punched in a new order. Proper masala chai, extra ginger, and... I hesitated, then added, 1 small bowl of dal, lentils, with proper spices. Because sometimes she might have a point about a balanced diet. Just don't tell her I said that. There'd be no living with her. So yeah, crisis averted, thanks to my brother and his quiet understanding of both bureaucratic nightmares and sibling dynamics. Between Barry and the exploding mould and maternal culinary espionage, just another typical week in the life of a xeno-containment specialist with a family that loves her a bit too intensely from several planets away. Anywho, how was your week? Any domestic appliance dramas, or just the usual paperwork dread?